Hi, my name's Sue Ellam, and I'm a tarot reader and have been for 25 years. And I use the Mythic Tarot, which is based on Greek mythology.
And I am Carrie Beleno, the keeper of the questions. I am a spiritual life coach and an intuitive Reiki master teacher. And I am offering the questions for both of us to tap into what message you need to hear, we all need to hear for today. So,
and I don't have a clue what the questions are.
And I just got a tiny bit dizzy there for a second. So, because this is the question. What is depression?
Oh, okay.
That's the reason I got a little dizzy.
What is depression? Oh. The same beginning as, I think it was yesterday or the day before.
The fear question?
Depression is chaos.
Chaos, yeah.
And losing things you don't want to lose, being attached to outcomes, being attached to people, being attached to situations, and needing control of everything in your life, and then things leaving you. And because you've got attachment to them and you can't let go, that creates depression. It can get to a feeling of abandonment in some cases as well. But it's when your world is changing, but you're not the one that's changing it. It's things changing around you. And then you feel completely out of control. And there's a feeling of being very alone because everything's leaving. But if you can look at it from the point of view that you don't lose what's yours, and the things leaving you are leaving because there's better things, new things coming in, which will help you in your next, your journey forward. But, you know, depression is holding on tightly to situations that sometimes are well past their sell-by date, but we are fearful of letting go, you know, because we fear. We did a question recently, a few days ago, about fear of change, and that, I think, depression can come into this as well. It's when you've got blocked energy and things eventually you're forced, change is forced on you, but you're out of control in it. One of the best things you can do to combat a depression, I'm not talking about clinical depression, I'm not medical in any way, so that's another thing, and I'm not qualified to talk about that. But anything that we get depressed about, things changing around us, if we can make decisions ourselves, and even if everything seems to be leaving us, and you know, life is chaotic and it's very, very emotional, if we can sit down and actually make some decisions, make mature decisions, so this will help to gain a bit of control back. You know, once I'm decided that I'm going to go and do a course, I want to learn something new, and that decision will bring a sense of normalcy into your life. If you can actually not become a victim of depression and let it take you in kind of ever, you know, decreasing spiral. If you can actually step out of that and say, okay, things are out of my control, what is something that I can control? I can learn, I can go on a cooking course. I can learn to look after myself a bit better. I can go and join the gym. I can learn, I've always been interested in archaeology, whatever it is. But by making those decisions, it also will affect the people around you. Because when somebody's in a state of depression, the people around them get seriously worried. And there's a feeling they will see you as a victim, somebody that needs to be nurtured, or somebody that needs to be avoided at all costs. It depends on who the people around you are. But being a depressed person makes you difficult company as well, especially if you give in to that depression. So by even taking a small step, that you're going to watch a series on Netflix, which is comedy, or just anything, that's a decision that you make for your better mental health, because depression again is a mental health issue. So it's stepping out of that, making that decision that you want to get better, you want to feel good again, and is a step-by-step process. It doesn't have to be massive, just step by step. Depression also brings confusion, not knowing exactly where you're going. A lot of, it's again a bit like a boat on the ocean, no oars. So it's finding an anchor so that your boat won't drift too far from home. Because going back to the tower card, this one here, it's the tower is surrounded by water. The water it's all churning, and water is to do with the emotions, and the moon is to do with the emotions and the confusion, not knowing where you're going. So this making a conscious decision to make a choice which will feel that is in your control, finding some kind of control, that will help when everything around doesn't. It's finding your core, finding yourself a purpose and hanging on to that, and making that your anchor, so that you don't kind of just drift without knowing where you're going ever again. But depression doesn't have to last forever. This is the world, it's the ending. He said you will have learned your lessons from it. You will know, you basically passed your exams in how to be depressed. And then you can say, okay, well, I choose not to do that again. I've learned. And I remember years ago, probably about 14 years now, I went along to one of these, to Tony Robbins' seminar. And I remember him saying to somebody, he said, because somebody, he always put out to the audience, does anybody need help? And this guy or girl, I can't remember who it was, they said, oh yeah, I'm so depressed, I can't get out of it. And he said, okay, I want you to sit up straight, or to put your chin up. Now, do you feel depressed? And do you know they couldn't feel depressed? Because as soon as people feel depressed, they slump, their head goes down, and their body changes. So even if it's making sure you stand up straight, you put your chin up, it's very hard to feel depressed when you change your body or your posture. So look at things about body language as well, because I haven't seen a happy person all slouched with their head down. So take that on board as well, because depression is a choice. And again, it doesn't sound nice to say so, but it is a choice. Taking out the clinical depression, I'm not dealing with that. I'm talking about when it's within our control to change it. We just choose just to give up. We don't have to. Those are the cards.
Yes, I want to signal, that's the word I wrote. I want to second what Sue is saying. And I know it may sound a bit harsh to say that depression is a choice, but I think the messages that I got here might help clarify that a little bit. And we are not talking about massive hormonal upheaval that's causing, depression, and that's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking about is more of an energetic depression, more of a lost feeling, more of a feeling like you don't know where you belong, or you can't move forward, or things don't feel right. So I want you to look at a depression in that from an energetic standpoint. And also I'd like you to look at it as a signal. And here's what I try to share with my clients. So your soul is here, and your soul knows what it loves. It knows where it's going in life. It knows why you came here. It knows a lot more than we do. And it's in communication with our guides and our loved ones and the spiritual master people, and it's got this pulse, its thumb on the pulse of joy, of where we're supposed to be headed. And then there's us here on earth, significantly lower energetically, and we're just schlepping along in pandemic world, or we're schlepping along at a job or financially, and we are just not where our soul wants to be. Now, if you are not feeling depressed and you're feeling fairly content, and so you might be a little bit here closer, you might be fulfilling your life purpose or working toward fulfilling your life purpose, so you might be flying a little closer to your soul. But then there's people that call themselves depressed, that kind of wear that badge, and they are not doing their life purpose. They're not feeling fulfilled. They are not with the people they want to be with. And so I want you to look at that depression as a signal that you want to reach for being closer to where your soul is. Reach for that higher elevation energetically. And it can look like a lot of things. But the first thing is reflecting and understanding that you are far away from your soul's goals or your soul's joy. And so take a look at the friends, the family, the situations, the job, your actions that keep you separated from that soul's joy. Your interactions, your argumentativeness, your whatever. None of that is high vibrating. And if those people or the situations are not resonating with where your soul wants you to be or knows that you belong, you are going to feel depressed. So use that emotion, use that sense of depression to help spark you into creative action or change that will get you closer to where you know you belong.
And I have no more to add to it. I think it must be very hard to pull yourself out and do things when you don't want to do them. Yeah. So that's our answer, I'm afraid.
So yep, use that depressive mode as a step toward your growth.
Yeah. Shows you're being woken up, and you're being, I suppose the spirit's knocking on the door and saying, oi,
come here.
Absolutely.
Come here. Yep.
You don't belong there anymore. Come with me.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, please subscribe and share if we resonate with you. And bye from me.
We'll see you tomorrow.